Alex, do you want to introduce this, or do you want me to do this, or how do you want to frame this?
This is my wife.
This is... welcome to Culture Doom. We have a special guest this week. The often referenced but never on camera, Erica, Alex's beautiful wife, has joined us tonight. Erica, incidentally, you were on one other episode where you discussed, of all things, 50 Shades of Grey.
I did not remember that at all.
Yes, it was an audio-only episode, but I'm seeing a trend of episodes you appear on, which is 50 Shades of Grey, and now this Virgin Island series that...
I would not have seen the series if it were not for you, Brendan. So this one is your fault.
All right, that's true. That is true.
There this is her full appearance. There was an earlier appearance of you back in episode 150.
Oh, it was her arm.
Yeah, well, that was... There's some proof that she existed.
I don't know. I just find it disappointing that I think that it's time to make... Yeah, isn't that horrifying?
Oh, she's squatting.
She's on like
Isn't that insane?
It's ridiculous.
There was some proof that a pale person existed, whether or not it was actually me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're talking about Virgin Island this week, which is a Channel 4 series.
Channel 4.
Well, Channel 4 being one of the more bizarre networks in television. We previously discussed Naked Education. What was that show?
It was the creepy one where the people just stood in front of like the 10-year-olds and they just kind of came out naked.
Oh, God.
Because it was like they were trying to show them this is what a real naked body looks like and not like the glamorous internet version and stuff.
Idealized.
And the kids were just like, this is embarrassing. Can we go back to looking at the internet bodies and stuff?
Yeah, they were like, the pornography was a lot less embarrassing than looking at this collection of naked adults in their classroom. And it was even creepier because they were sitting at little like grammar school desks.
Yeah, and the room, I remember, it looked like it was filmed in like an abandoned warehouse or factory or something. It was really, because like it was just like old brick walls and like steam like radiators and stuff.
Sounds like a great show.
Yeah.
Because what age kids was this?
Tween?
Like, I want to say from 11 to 18.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the actual episode because it was one of the ones that got more views because it was a provocative image that we used.
And it wasn't just us thinking this; it was other people.
It was called Naked Education.
Naked Education. Oh, how original! Oh, there's the thumbnails.
Oh, I was hoping it would just show the thumbnail, but it's going to try to... Oh, no, there it is. Yeah. So we had 2 women and 2 men, although I think one was trans. Somebody was trans in this, which made it extra confusing for an 11-year-old. But the kids... they were like... There's definitely like a 12-year-old or 11-year-old in this. There they are.
Yeah.
There's the kids.
And they made them sit at the desks.
I mean, that's one of our nieces.
Yeah.
That, I mean...
Not in the picture, but like...
Yes. Thank you for clarifying.
She's 13.
I meant like the age. Well, no, I'm talking not even the oldest, the middle.
Oh, the middle one. Yeah.
I mean...
So 10 or 11 or something. Yeah.
She's 11 now.
They're around that age group. So it's just like...
The British are just much more progressive and open-minded than...
That's why our ancestors
knuckle dragging American. They're like, hi, Mr. Fignac. We would like to use your son in a show where we're going to have strangers take off their clothes and show them their pubic hair. That was the context of this the context of this episode was to show natural hair growth on people.
That's it?
Well, it was the main thing. I'll show a clip right now.
There was definitely shock on the teens' faces to see bigger bushes, more pubic hair on the women. That isn't necessarily what our teens look at day to day.
We'd love to hear a little bit about why some of you have chosen to grow your body hair.
I've never seen something like that. I don't think ever.
So have you always believed it's all in a big bush or nothing at all?
Yes.
Yeah, the Puritans.
So the knuckle draggers left the rest of the continent because they're like, this is too crazy for us.
But so Naked Naked, I want to keep wanting to say Naked Attraction. There's a different Channel 4 show. That's the show where you decide, are you familiar with this, Erica? Naked Attraction?
Oh, well, whenever you're saying, I keep thinking Naked and Afraid, and I think that's a different. Isn't that?
I think that's an
another
American
show?
one.
But
Yeah, that's like a survival show.
Yeah.
but no, I'm not familiar with the one you're referencing.
Naked Attraction is a dating show that is, they have like 5 people with little like screens in front of them, and they raise them from the feet up slowly, and the person decides who they're most attracted to and wants to go on a date with. They're naked. That's the thing.
It's kind of like a burlesque show.
In this dating show, we go back to basics. Are you ready?
Bring on.
And start where a good date often ends. Naked.
How do you feel about that penis?
Because they're
So
like,
it's like, oh,
ooh.
those ankles are really hot.
Or I was going to say, if anyone has a foot fetish, like they never get above the ankles. They're like, no, just leave it. No, go down a little bit further. Okay,
I've
okay,
seen
there.
enough.
Yeah.
What was that? I remember it might have been a Weird Al music video, but there was something where they had like Amish Playboy, and it was just a bunch of like women like lifting up their skirts above their ankle.
That
and you
was
could see-
probably
that
Weird
was-
Al.
Okay.
I don't know.
No, it is. You've referenced this before, and I've used the clip because you've referenced this before, Alex.
There's no time for sin and vibes, living in an Amish paradise.
Alex has like a bag of like 12 jokes he references that he just pulls out randomly.
It's very funny, dear.
They're classic. They've stood the test of time.
Classic Weird Al. But anyhow, so Channel 4 is just like this network of debauchery. And their latest iteration of this is Virgin Island. Which, do you guys want to summarize what the idea is of what Virgin Island is all about?
I'm letting you do it. It's your show.
So basically,
Start with your shows.
yeah. If you listen to a previous episode, we had another show we reviewed, which is called MILF Manor, where you had a bunch of people show up at a destination, older women who also had young 20-something-year-old sons that were kind of attracted to older women,
you
and
told me about this.
vice versa. So this was kind of the similar concept. This show is there. They took about like I don't know if it was like 10, 12 maybe, couldn't remember, British virgins, and they put them on an island in which they were going to try to lose their virginity in some capacity by the end of the program. And in order to do this, they had a bunch of, I guess, like sex experts, coaches, therapists,
counselors,
along with these like surrogate, what are they called? Surrogate lovers or something?
Something like that. Surrogate partners.
Surrogate partners, yeah. So they were going to basically kind of teach these individuals how to come out of their little, chrysalis and become these sexual butterflies after having sex.
This summer, 12 virgins are on a journey of self-discovery.
Being a young adult in this day and age, it's difficult.
People see it as a joke.
I don't know if I'm going to be doing it right.
I'm worried about hurting.
It's just awkward.
What's going to happen on this island is mind-blowing.
It was weird to me because I thought that the premise was going to be they're supposed to have sex with each other. Like, we're going to do Virgin Island, and it's the people are supposed to go on dates with each other and try to find a relationship with them. It's more skeevy than that because they're actually mostly encouraged to sleep with these surrogates that they practice dating with, which makes them... I'm just imagining how it's like they come back after going on their fake dates with these people, and then they like the next person goes to have their fake date, and it's like, that's weird. So you're just making out with this surrogate with Kat. Let's be honest, everyone's just making out with Kat the entire show. Kat was the one really taking it for the team.
Is there anything you want to talk about before we move to some body work? My suggestion would be to practice like touch and giving feedback.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. I'll have you start with my arm. I was thinking we could maybe try like something a little bit more organic, like maybe some like kissing and like, oh, does that feel? We can start slow.
Yeah, if we could start slow, because I've never kissed anyone sober, so.
Never?
Yeah, she seemed into it. I mean, I think this is Kat's fetish for sure.
Yeah,
she was just like,
yeah, she was
knock
the one
him down.
that was shown the most of all of them, kind of like outside of their little
Literally.
like, yeah.
Imagine being Kat's boyfriend.
Imagine
Like, how was
being
work
her
today?
sons.
Oh God.
No, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, so it was like they had like I don't know, like 7 or 8 like the surrogates, and it was kind of weird because it's like how exactly was the production concept meeting prior to this whole thing going about like setup? Or they like, well, we're gonna get these dozen virgins and we're gonna try to coax them into sleeping with each other. If all fails, we can have option B, which is just we're going to have these just like they're like those skeezy like sex horn dogs that are going to show them how to do this, and then we could be like, hey, you can possibly sleep with them if you want to.
But they it just didn't seem that they encouraged much in terms of the dating like between them, and
Yeah,
they weren't
between each other.
no one was compatible with each other.
Yeah, there was
at all.
There was
the Indian gentleman and the blonde that you two liked.
Yeah,
I can't remember their names.
the 23-year-old. Yeah.
Well, I think whenever
okay.
it was like, okay, if we had to with anyone, I think you two were like, okay, she wouldn't be so bad.
Okay, yeah. Alex and I picked
Yep.
Emma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Emma was interested in
There.
Viraj.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Kind
Yeah.
of. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I felt like towards the last 1 or 2 episodes, like it was kind of cute, like maybe, but I think especially since they did the recap at like, I feel like I would be surprised if any of these people kept in touch with each other, or maybe if they did minimally.
Yeah.
I want to get to the epilogue because the epilogue made me laugh out loud at one point, and I texted Alex a screenshot and was like, death, like skull emoji, because it was just the funniest punchline to the entire show. But yeah, so let's talk about our contestants, our, what did you guys call, participants?
Well, and I was going to say, like, going back to what you said, I felt like if you were going to have a show set up like this, you would think it, no matter what, it's not natural. You are forcing these people together. They have chosen to be on there, but you would think they would try to force them together, and maybe, like you said, maybe that didn't work and this was a backup. Like either way, it was
bring the prostitutes in. This isn't working.
Or you could have just given them all like a all expense paid trip to like Amsterdam. Just get it done.
I'd almost say it wasn't like, oh hey, nothing's moving, let's bring the prostitutes in, because Zach was all over it. He was like, oh, gimme, like, and then he was upset because it just wasn't working for him.
He was very sure of himself.
I think that it's interesting because there is like there's a large variety of problems going on for these people. Like, it's not Zach's problem was just that like it just hadn't happened. Like, that was Zach's issue. It had nothing to do with any kind of trauma or mental concerns or anxiety. He just like he just needed some girl to lay still. That was like his entire issue
for 30 seconds.
Right.
Just own a hole.
But then you get to the other people. Like, there's people with legitimate physical, medical issues in this show that do not fit into the entire topic. And then you have the traditional gamut of trauma and abuse, which is just like none of these therapists are real therapists, it seemed like. So they were in way over their head with those people.
Yeah. It seems like everybody there pretty much had some sort of deep-seated issue that they kind of needed to overcome before even getting to the point where it's like, okay, I want to have sex with somebody and lose my virginity, which would have been done much better not in this scenario.
Yeah, well, that's another issue. Like, it's like I partially want to talk broad strokes, but I also want to talk about these people because like what you're talking about, this was not everything that happened in the show was like didn't apply to real life. The thing, one of the first things they did that we watched together was the like throwing someone against the wall and choking them.
Awkward.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this isn't like intro to dating behavior. Like you're like they're doing like they're in a movie.
Yeah.
And it's 12 virgins who are just sort of like, what is happening?
It's
Why?
like-
What does this mean?
It's like we're training them to become like sex perverts or something like that. In some of these cases.
I could see if it's like, okay, trying to get them used to being close to someone physically, but no, that was like multiplied by like a million. That was completely inappropriate just right off the bat.
Well, and the men are going to think that this is like, oh, this is what women want you to do. This is what passion looks like. And it's like, you have to work, you work up to. And it can be, in the context of a relationship or in drunken passion at some point. But just like jumping to here's your intro to dating. Slam me against the wall and choke me.
Yeah.
What are you doing this for? Who is this for?
Yeah.
TV.
Yeah, I don't think the people on the
Yes,
show are really.
exactly.
They don't like the touchy. They have issues with touchy feeliness, and when you're going from that point straight to just like throw me against the wall and like get your hand around my hair, like it's like a bridle of some sort. I'm surprised that those sex experts would even have that as like, oh, this is the first thing you should do.
It's just so theatrical. And then if any of these guys trying to do that, it's going to come off as weird and awkward and like forced and rehearsed, because it is, because they're literally rehearsing this move.
And God forbid they do this outside of this environment, because if they try doing that in some bar in Liverpool, it's like, okay, criminal charges.
Zach's
It was
gonna
just-
get arrested.
Yeah.
Yeah, some cop sees that, they're going to be like, what is this all about?
Oi, where's your license for throwing against the wall?
So speaking of people who had issues, we're starting right off the bat with Tom.
The
Tom is
cherubic German boy.
Frau Lunch Lady, please to have another sloppy Jimbo. Das ist gut, nein?
Tom was an interesting little situation. And this kind of comes through in other people, I got to remember. Because I feel like some of the therapists try to talk people into certain conditions isn't the right situations and like views of themselves. Because this is a guy who was, I feel, basically talked into saying that he was non-binary but heterosexual. And it was kind of awkward how that all went down. Where he started off being like, I think I might be gay. And then they're like, well, do you want to have sex with men? And he's like, not really. And then it kind of just, they kept pushing it. And then he suddenly became this, that's what it was. The girls put makeup on him.
They did his nails.
And then he was like, I love this. Now I'm non-binary.
Feels so wrong, yet so right.
It was just kind of like turning a switch, which was a little weird.
Well, and I almost kind of wonder if it was approached the opposite way, in which he was already at that point kind of realizing it, but maybe hadn't actually come out and said it. But they're like, for TV and entertainment purposes, they would actually want him to, yes, I'm heterosexual. And then they could get him there for entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
But who knows?
It seemed like they were going for a lot of check boxes as the show continued. Like it was sort of for a random collection of 12 people, they hit a lot of like diversity quotas very easily, I'd say. So Tom decided that he was non-binary. I love the detail, like drama student, like their careers or their status in life. Also, I think this is a friend sent him an application to do the show.
So he's kind of put up to it then.
Okay.
That's nice. Hey, buddy, they're looking for virgins. Here you go.
We threw your hat and your name in the hat.
Pia is an example of what we were saying about medical conditions. Vaginismus. This is a medical condition. This is not something that the love doctor is going to solve for her.
And she was one of them too that I swear maybe they like the camera scanned over her in the first couple episodes, but I swear they didn't even like do a very paused shot on her for until like the third or fourth episode. I was like, who is this chick?
Yeah, there was a bunch of them that kind of were more in the background, and you'd only really see them like in the group settings, and not even like the individual, like, you know, the one-on-one interviews they would sometimes have.
Well, remember in MILF Manor, they just got rid of a woman and her daughter mid-season and replaced them with somebody sexier with a hotter kid.
Yeah,
It was so awkward.
Was that the mom and the son that kind of were just not wanting to be there?
It was like the Mexican. I was going to say Mexican couple, but it was like the Mexican mom and son who are they kind of looked like, what the hell are we in? We don't want to be here for this. This is creepy and weird.
Smart people.
Yeah. No, they were.
I mean, I will say that as weird as the show was, MILF Manor was more deranged.
Yes. More chaotic too, because the one thing that this has, which is a positive compared to MILF Manor, is that MILF Manor had absolutely no host or referee that kind of wrangles them and stuff like that. Like they would get these things on their, they would get like text messages on the phone saying, "Oh, we have something to do," and they'd write down. They were like the dumbest things. They would just write down lists of like, who thinks somebody is cute and blah blah blah. At least here you had like a bunch of people kind of that would
keep things moving.
Yeah.
There was a process or a plan, so to speak.
Yeah. So Pia, I mean, I guess we can spoil things. Tom never has sex.
Yeah.
Correct.
No sex for Tom.
Yes.
So that's a big X.
Yeah.
Pia wants to overcome pain and anxiety she felt when exploring intercourse. Talk to the doctor, baby doll. That's not. Yeah. This isn't for you. They shouldn't have even had her on the show. This is a whole other issue. No sex. She does get fingered, but no sex.
No sex for you.
She gets fingered
by 1 year
by the surrogate in one of the more awkward moments in the series.
Yeah.
It's going really slow. Can tell me like how much pressure I need. Oh yeah. Is it painful? Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. I can feel a bit of clenching in your vagina. I don't know.
Yeah.
I do think that the other reason only one person gets laid on the show, and none of the women do. Spoiler: it wasn't Zach, and it wasn't any of the girls. And I think partially because it would come off as too exploitative for any of these male surrogate partners to have sex with these girls. It would come off as predatory. Whereas the way it plays out in the show, it's like kind of sweet, kind of like an act of mercy, you know?
It would be sweet if it wasn't so awkward and just, skeevy.
Like pity, almost like the way Don John ended up happening.
Except I don't think it's
where he
pity,
slept with the older woman.
She was all about it.
Well, twice divorcee, mother of two teenage
Erica,
boys.
Between the two of us, one of us will understand Alex's references because I've never seen Don John, so I'm glad that you could react.
You've never seen it either?
I'm not.
Oh, neither of us have?
What one is that again?
It's the one with Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Okay,
JGL.
yeah, I have seen it. It's just been a while. I think I've blocked it out.
Who's been very quiet for a long time.
Because he was in Don John?
I think he directed that too.
Yeah.
So Pia's a big red X. Nothing happened. Well, I mean a little bit, but not enough for her. Jason, I don't even really remember anything about.
I will say there are certain things that, like the counselors or therapists or whatever you want to call them, because I'm pretty sure Jason was one where he could not stand hugs. Like, don't touch me, get away from me. And he did get to the point where he's like, you know what, I do enjoy hugs. And so, was this the appropriate way for him to learn? Maybe not. But I did appreciate the fact that he got to that point, and then also I appreciate the humor in it. But I also kind of felt bad for him because I don't think it was Kat. I think it was someone else where they're just basically like grinding on each other, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I've already like I'm done."
Yeah,
But I
I'm
appreciate
finished.
that he was honest about it.
That's amazing. I'm crying.
I mean, hey, he got further than Zach did.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Zach didn't get anything out of like dry humping or anything like that. I'm trying to find the surrogate therapist. I'm trying to find any pictures of these people that we can.
Yeah, I do remember he was the one. He was
here we
like he worked for like an MP or something like that. It's like a.
He's an administrative worker.
Okay, maybe I'm thinking about. Oh, it was the other guy.
Some of the guys blended in. They don't have that kind of British phenotype where I'm like,
they all look like
who's
Mr.
this?
Bean.
They all look like Mr. Bean, exactly. Here's our sex therapists or counselors.
Okay.
Oops. She was like the main one.
Yeah.
There's Kat.
Oh yeah.
Kat Slade. That's like a porn name.
Oh.
Kat.
What
Please
movie
welcome-
have I seen her
Stop it.
in? She went to NYU.
I think Joy is the one. How come these are all Americans, incidentally? But I think Joy is the one that was grinding against our boy over here. Oh, that's MILF Manor. Here we go. Jason. Andrew
Lazarus. Andrew Lazarus is a porn name.
They're all poor names. Oh, this guy.
Deva.
This was our naked boy.
Yeah.
And he was one of the exhibitionists. Him and I think was it Joy? I think was the other one. I think it was.
Maybe. Yeah.
I think so.
I found that. Oh, can I say this?
Yes.
Just reminded me. This show lost all legitimacy when he was showing off his dick and did not. And I actually thought that they edited it wrong until I rewatched it because he doesn't get his own anatomy right. He doesn't know what a frenulum is, which is.
He's had it for how many decades?
Well, I just found it strange that he I'll put the clip up right now, censored, but I'll just say that he's in the wrong area completely.
This is obviously the shaft here. This is the glans. And this part back here, the frenulum.
And I thought that it was edited wrong and that the editor was just like, there's some woman editing this and was like, whatever, I can put any shot here. But he says the first part, he's like, here's the shaft and here's the frenulum and points to the wrong thing. And I was just like, bruh, what is happening here? All these women are like, what the f-? Like, it's...
You would have thought that they would have confirmed before, like, okay, you're going to be the person to show everything, to teach them, like, if you can talk about, all these things and confirm that they know
what they're experts,
what their body parts are.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because English isn't his first language. Let's go with that. And in case anyone is confused, what is that? I'm trying to find. There it is. There's a frenulum in your mouth. There's a frenulum in your mouth under your tongue. That is there is a frenulum.
So frenulum laceration.
Extrapolate that.
Labial.
Anyway, moving on. This guy, no good. He gets a D. No, he gets an F. He had one job. His job was showing off his dick, and he that up. So,
at least he knew it was a penis.
Aisha, she was fine. She was the one who made the Indian girl feel comfortable, I believe. She didn't have to get naked.
Yeah.
This guy didn't say anything. I just remember he was like had the hair, and that was it.
He was the one fingering Pia.
Yeah, he was. Was it Pia? Because I thought he was also with one of the redheads, but maybe.
Yeah, that was the other confusing thing. There was like 3 redheads.
Yeah. One of them showed up in the last episode, and I was like, "Who is this girl?" There was one woman who showed up at the very end who had no screen time, And I think she turns into a lesbian. But she comes out as a lesbian.
Well, and there were two, or one of.
I thought there were two redheads that did that.
One is bisexual, maybe.
Maybe.
Let's go on down the list and see if we can find it.
Okay.
So
Jason,
no sex. Sorry, but he came in his pants. So A+.
I call it a win.
Yes. Hey, I call that sex.
Yeah.
Louise. She was the one who didn't want to get naked.
She didn't. She had like a body dysmorphia type of thing going.
Or just confidence.
Yeah.
She had said that she lost a lot of weight and was.
Yeah. And they were having her stand in the mirror, I think, and just look at her body.
Well, that was another issue where half of the dudes got completely naked in this episode where they had to strip off and stand in front of a mirror in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Most of the guys were completely naked. One guy was completely clothed, to be fair. And then none of the women were naked. So
yeah. We were able to tell that all the men were Gentiles.
It was funny. That took me a second. I was like, what the f- is he talking about? It was funny because one of the guys was saying how he thought it was easier for women to be naked because they wouldn't be judged by penis size. But obviously that wasn't true. And that wouldn't be true. Partially because all the women would be judging each other during that.
Well, I don't even think necessarily they're judging each other. I think they're judging themselves.
There you go.
I mean, considering a lot of them, to begin with, no matter what confidence issues, still being virgins and everything. And go ahead, Brendan.
No. I'm agreeing with you. No. Sorry, go on. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, I think they're not judging the men on penis sizes. They're not judging the other women on their body types. What?
Go ahead.
You're like, but yeah, no.
Just ignore him.
They just.
I usually do.
It's hard not to. He's so cute.
Thank you.
Aww.
Continue.
Yeah, I think they're just silently judging themselves.
And I think that plays into an issue I had with the show, which is that a lot of the things they were having these people do not only weren't helping them, they were hurting them. There's that thing. There's a moment where they're supposed to go on fake dates with each other and supposed to build confidence. And one of the women starts picking on the guy for having stretch marks.
Yes, that was horrible.
Why do you have these horrible stretch marks?
I don't know. Right? You say horrible, did you?
Well, it looks painful. It looks like you got
You just
scratched.
see my arse. It's more on my arse.
Okay. I'm bored now. I'm bored now.
Yeah.
And he comes back from it and he's like, this whole thing that was supposed to be about gaining confidence just destroyed any confidence I ever had.
Wasn't that with one of the girls that he kind of had a thing for?
Sure.
Thought she liked him or
it was. I
was
forgot about that part.
Completely I can't think of it. Was one of the redheads, but it was a complete bitch moment for her. I could not believe that she would say something like that.
Yeah, and just look in the mirror, ma'am. Look where you're at right now. Should you really be taking this route?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Charlotte was the one who was being mean. And it's funny because by the end of the show, it becomes kind of clear that she has a bit of a sadism fetish. She's kind of telling the guy to bow down to her and say how great she is and worship her like a goddess and all that stuff.
So she's a dom?
I think she's a dom and a sadist for sure. She gets off on
change.
and she's a care worker. Oh, that's amazing. That's perfect.
Did we skip anybody before that?
Oh, we skipped a ton of people. I was just trying to find Charlotte. Our boy Zach.
He looks like I'm so glad he shaved his head.
Yeah, he looks very surprised there.
He looks like they flew an American in for this.
He looks like Will Sasso.
I know the name. I can't picture who that is.
From Mad TV, he used to be.
Oh yeah. No,
he did the Steven Seagal stuff.
Yeah. And I legitimately, I think he was a nice guy and everything, but he was done. He knew what he was there to do, and he was just let's go for it.
Yeah, he didn't know how to pump the brakes and how to get into the how to do stuff at a slow, gradual pace. He's just like, okay, here we are. Can I just grab your boobs? Type of thing.
Well, that's the most awkward.
I mean, if you're like this, then there's some problems.
Anyway,
that's the most awkward moment in a sequence in this series was him trying. It was like watching.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alex.
You're welcome.
Harping on this issue. It was like he had seen how much the most attractive guy was getting out of his time with Kat, and so Zach wanted to really get in there too, and Kat was not into it. And
he said something, and she was like, "Oh, that was aggressive. Like, I'm gonna get dressed now."
Yeah, it was something where like he was trying to assert his like not dominance, but it was like
I almost feel
majesty or something. He's like, am I intimidating or something?
I think he was trying to say something in a sexy way because, especially, if you think about it, they almost set him up to fail because if it's the first episode, they're like, oh, push me up against the wall. So he's thinking like, oh yeah, assert dominance, be partially aggressive, all this kind of stuff. Yeah. They set him up to fail.
See, I have written down here.
He's got notes.
Building overconfidence.
Yeah.
And I feel like he was a victim of that, where they wanted him, they were like making these men feel like they should be very assertive. Because what he said was, I remember, he said like, am I intimidating you? Or do I intimidate you? Or something like that. And she got all freaked out by it. And was like, okay, I think you should get dressed. And then bring in the therapist to discuss this and kind of, it's just so weird and unnecessary. And it's just like, Kat, you can say you don't have to sleep with this guy, right? You don't have to do
I don't think
this.
you're getting paid that much by the network. So.
Well, and he did the whole thing with the notebook and trying to say nice things about everyone. It was coming from a good place, but it's like, let that happen naturally and don't try to force it on people. Like, I'm going to every single day, multiple times a day, I'm going to no, just let it happen naturally. Don't force it.
Yeah.
Well, and also that his approach to that was like the dumb guy version where he was doing, you have a really great smoking body. I think you're really funny.
Yeah.
And like just sort of, it was the backhanded compliments between people.
Butt. Yeah.
Where it was just like,
he's just an idiot. Very meatheady.
Meatheady and clearly just didn't have enough emotional maturity to actually do that in a meaningful way. It was all very surface level and kind of insulting.
Louise, you have a banging body, mate. You're f***ing sexy as hell.
Thanks.
Holly, you can be so f***ing funny sometimes, and you have the greatest expressions, and it's hilarious.
So Zach's just kind of a dum-dum. Not malicious, but just needs to be around women.
And a great epilogue photo too.
Well, he's the punchline of the epilogue.
He's the punchline
it's
of the
just
show.
like he feels like life. It's the epilogue is all this person did this and this person and these people traveled and now they're not seeing each other, but they tried to date, and this person has a new relationship and 4 of them aren't virgins anymore. So Zach clearly big red X. No sex for Zach. Taylor.
She's a receptionist.
I don't remember Taylor.
I actually feel like
She's one of the redheads. They're all kind of blending at a certain point.
Yes.
I feel like she was the one. She was actually kind of cute. The photo maybe isn't the best photo right there, but that's okay.
I think I remember her being kind of funny, like fun. But I think, was she a lesbian in the end? I think she might have been one. No, you think she was?
Maybe
I was thinking it was a different redhead. I think she had definitely some self-confidence issues, because I feel like I remember one of the episodes, maybe even saying she didn't want to be touched or something like that. I think like crying on one of the couches.
Yeah.
I think that was her.
Like in a situation where I feel like anytime it comes to a situation, where like sex is on the table, I freeze up and I panic. I just don't want anyone to touch me or anything like that because I just feel wrong.
Okay.
But this is another thing where it's okay. She's 29. We'll get to Holly's the lesbian. But there are people on here where I'm like, how are you as old as you are? And not only do you not have experience with other people, you don't have experience with yourself. Like that's something, and I don't mean even necessarily like masturbation. I just mean like education wise, they seem kind of like
lack of life experiences.
One of the dudes didn't know the difference between his balls and his prostate. I like how I did this. But isn't that weird? I think that's weird.
Yeah.
Who was that?
It makes you wonder what they teach in like human biology classes in the UK.
In the UK?
What's a prostate?
So further up.
Oh, I thought your prostate was your testicles.
No.
Oh shit! I got B in biology.
All right, Viraj.
Viraj. Apart from him having a thing for the blonde and trying to get with her, he really didn't do much. Like he would always be seen like working out in their like gym set, and that was it. He just was there.
Which I'll admit, I was kind of surprised he's a personal trainer. Not that you have to be like big and swole and everything, but I was just like, oh, okay, I wouldn't have guessed that.
He didn't even look like he had done like Iron Man, because a lot of like personal trainers look very fit looking and stuff. He just seemed like I've been working out for like 3 weeks and I'm a personal trainer.
Yeah. But it is interesting that he didn't have much of a character arc at all. Like he didn't. I don't even remember what his issue was.
I remember he was talking about how like in Indian culture they have like the arranged marriages and stuff.
Oh yeah,
and
that's true.
that was basically his thing, and he was like, "Oh no, if I can like date the blonde because she's not Indian and stuff like that." So it was kind of like, okay, it's like a 5-minute period in an episode, and that was it for his thing.
And then it was just him and Emma kind of talking,
trying to get together. Yeah, him trying to get with her and stuff.
Yeah, he would hold her hand, and she would say, "Oh, you're so nice," and that's about it.
End scene.
Holly was the one who showed up on the very last episode, as far as I remember, and she had no presence in any of the other episodes.
She was very wallflowery, and she's a redhead, right? She's one of the
yes.
three.
I think they're all redheads.
I was trying to remember because I know one of the redheads. Whenever they were like in the room and like all of the therapists and counselors and everything, and one of the redheads is going to town like humping Carol, the blonde therapist lady, like on the floor or something, like, you know, oh, just get used to our bodies moving together. And I mean, yeah, I was just like, oh, okay, she's familiar now.
She's familiar. She decides she comes out as a lesbian on the last episode. It's kind of abrupt. A lot of it is abrupt. I mean, I thought she was 23. I thought she was older, but that's like UK 23. So, I mean, I guess it is a little weird that it took her being on a Channel 4 reality TV show to figure out her sexual orientation. And then I believe
it was like scripted.
Dave. Oh, Holly didn't have sex. Viraj didn't have sex, and Taylor didn't have sex.
I feel
Nobody's
like
had
whenever
sex.
you scroll down to Dave, you need to have like a round of applause or like,
well, like for Dave, it's like, just look at him. Like, he looks like he could be an actor.
Yeah.
Like, Dave's entire shtick is like, oh, I'm like secretly hot, but a virgin. And
well, he's also
I need
an
help from
accountant.
I think he's a ringer. I think
he's
he is
an accountant.
an actor.
He's an accountant too, so I don't know how well that job profession pulls women. Is it accountant pretty good? Do girls are accountants?
well, in my ranking of men by their job titles,
their
I would
occupation.
say that.
I mean, accountant's pretty good. I mean, I would say like it pays the bills. It's pretty good.
Anyway.
Would
I
you have
don't know,
married
I've
Alex
heard.
if he was an accountant, Erica?
I've heard.
Maybe. Dave did have sex. He is the only one who had sex. And look at his like little designer polo thing going on. It's like
I
a
know.
sweater polo or something weird.
He wore it for Kat because it's textured.
Yeah.
For her pleasure.
Yeah. What is it? Oh yeah, ribbed for her pleasure.
Ribbed. There we go. Jeez. Textured. What was I thinking of?
Well, I said textured first. So.
Gotcha.
Or maybe you did. I don't know.
So yeah, it's like he just apparently is late bloomer or something. I don't know. Like it's I don't remember them really articulating what his hang up is either, besides never met the right girl.
Yeah, I think that was kind of, I do feel like he was one whenever Kat was doing her anatomy lessons. I do feel like he was kind of like, oh, yeah, okay. Like, I thought it was him, but
He just pulls out a hard hat with a light on, and he's just like,
Kat's there, shot at a distance, and then whatever his name is comes out, and it's like full dick close up. And it's like, what's that? What's that all about? Come on. It's like equal turnabout's fair play, but no, not on Channel 4. We just get dicks everywhere. Charlotte was the mean one.
Yeah.
mean girl. She's also 29 too, which is kind of
because that was
She's
Charlotte
one of the
was the
older
one
ones.
that Ben liked, and she was like, no, not.
yeah. She's just like,
And then was like saying stretch marks about Jason, I think.
Is it?
I was
Maybe.
pretty sure.
Well, that, speaking of the whole like dude stripping down in front of the mirror was extra awkward because they were wearing battery packs for their microphones.
Yeah.
So it was just like so weird and awkward to watch. It's like, come on, can't you just have some booms for these people while they're stripping down naked instead of having this awkward battery pack taped to their leg? Come on, guys.
Can you come to the mirror with me?
Yeah, I'll do that.
This is your mirror here. You can check yourself out.
I've seen this every day for 25 years. I'm used to it.
Emma was the like sad abuse victim of the show.
yeah, it kind of got very dark.
Yeah.
Like
was-
later on,
She was sweet though.
Well, she was,
Like-
but like her
Totally.
the story that like what she divulged eventually
Yeah.
was kind of like, oh, okay, this is explaining a lot of reasons why you have a lot of hang-ups with relationships and intimacy and things such as that, and which carried over to why you're here today and such like that.
She was definitely one though. I was like, why you seem like a very nice person, very sweet. Why would you put yourself through this? Like put
Right.
yourself in this position? Like
Because her friends
no,
also
just-
put her name in the hat.
Just go see a therapist, work through the issues, and don't do anything like this again.
And I think that's the general, as you can tell, it's basically the general running theme for all these people on the show is like, you just need to go into some sort of counseling or therapy of some sort to deal with a lot of these personal demons that have built on inside of you and have manifested themselves before you even get to any type of like sexual intimacy and things like that.
Well, and you're not going to fix anything with, I mean, how long was this? Was this just a week they were on this island?
I feel like it was a week and a half,
Yeah,
maybe
it
two
wasn't
tops.
very long.
Yeah.
You're not going to work through your issues, these deep-seated issues, on a reality TV show.
And a lot of the way that it was presented, it was 8 episodes, and I think like every episode was like, this is what we're trying to achieve in this episode, and this is what we're trying to achieve today, and this is what we're doing. So it was a very crash course type of, gauntlet they put these
It
people
was
through.
throwing them in there.
Yeah.
I did appreciate that, they did try to do some of the therapy counseling, but again, because everything was so sexually laced and everything,
Yeah,
it's
and
like,
I think there was also an additional individual that spoke to some of them that wasn't part of like the whole sex therapist people. That was like an actual like clinical therapist or something like that, counselor. She showed up for 2 people or something like that.
She was the one who showed up to like get Zach and Kat over their awkward encounter. She was very like, how are you feeling, and why do you think this happened, and what do you think Kat thinks about what happened?
Yeah, it's like they were in marriage counseling, and it's like, They're not.
It's just it's
They're not
like
a couple.
in a normal situation, it just would have been, oh, this guy's creepy and it made me uncomfortable and I'm leaving. All of this has made this into this weird, like none of this reflects and translates properly into real life. And so it makes all of this kind of moot because the complexities of a real date are lost when you're like, this is the prime opportunity to kiss someone's hand at dinner. Like that's not really how it works, and it's weird to set these people out into the real world now, thinking because assuming this is real, they were very like thankful for the information that had been shared with them by these therapists, and I'm sitting there thinking this doesn't apply to real life at all. You shouldn't be thanking them; they wasted your time, especially for the men.
I'm hoping that just maybe from this, maybe some of them had never, spoken to a counselor or therapist, and maybe this, crash, like in your face crash course has opened them up to that. Like, oh yes, this would be best for me, right, and I shall do that when I get home. Right. This is what I would hope for. Yeah.
But I just think it's interesting that like for Dave, he comes out and is like, now that I've had sex, I have all this new confidence. And I'm wondering, does that really, when he gets back out onto the mainland, into the UK, he's trying to pick up a girl at a bar, does that still apply? I don't know. I don't know if he's going to feel that way.
I think it'll at least give him some sort of baseline concept of how to approach it and some confidence, but I think it's also going to be a lot of trial and lots and lots of error when they try to go, like I was saying, some bar someplace or some club or whatever, and meet with the actual wildlife of the dating scene and stuff like that.
Okay.
Because it's like, this is a very contained experiment.
Yeah.
And finally, our boy Ben.
Oh, Ben.
Grumpy Ben. Ben was...
Is that photoshopped?
I don't
know. His body looks goofy.
I mean, he's not... It's funny because like this, everyone clearly is not actually on this beach. They're all just kind of added there. But this picture, I think, is really him.
Yeah, okay. I think it is him.
Yeah.
But yeah, what... I mean, they're definitely playing into the TV show entertainment factor, choosing that picture.
He just looks very cranky. He looks like somebody's like dad is like, broke a window.
I found Ben fascinating simply because he is literally a never nude.
He's a never nude.
Is that exactly what it sounds like?
Tobias suffered a rare psychological affliction of never being able to be completely naked.
Excuse me, do these effectively hide my thunder?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I need you to be completely undressed.
I am completely undressed.
I thought he just liked cutoffs.
Me too.
He's the most cynical, which I appreciated. He seemed he seemed to be the one that was like buying into it the least of everyone. He was kind of like, this is all a bunch of bullshit, and so I liked that about him. But like that, like his hang-ups, I really am curious about where that comes from. That he's that intimidated.
It's probably something he's had since childhood. I'd imagine, especially, I'd imagine probably I don't know the privacy of his home, but maybe...
You don't?
Well, maybe he does it where there are people that basically like shower in like swimming trunks or underwear or something like that. And it might be something that he started up because I know they do a lot of like the boarding schools in England and stuff like that, where it's like, I don't know if there's like communal showers, but he might have hang-ups like that.
But you would think that he would be, if he grew up in communal showers in high school, that he would be used to it as opposed to traumatized by it.
Yeah. Well, I would think even like primary grades, because I think they even still do like the boarding schools for like primary grades in England and stuff. So this could be going to like, first, second, third, fourth grade equivalent here in the US and stuff like that. So it's probably just a long thing. Because you were talking about David Cross with the Never Nude stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I just mean that I feel it's the opposite. I feel like his mom was like beating him till he's like, being naked is evil and you should never be naked.
A sin.
Like I feel like that's like if he was, in primary school changing and showering with other guys, I don't think that he would have the hangups.
Used to it.
Yeah.
With expert help,
Lucky boy.
they'll meet temptation,
I just don't want anyone to touch me.
chase connection,
Don't make you nervous.
and experience intimacy.
I'm like a different virgin there. I'm closer to losing it. Woohoo!
Pots of Gold. It's the part of the show where we give our final ratings for Virgin Islands season 1. This is a scale of
Erica.
0 to 4 pots of gold, 0 being the lowest, 4 being the best.
You can do halves also.
And we're going off of like whether we enjoy the show, whether we think it's a good show, or
Your criteria is whatever you want it to be. I would say, do you think that people should watch it?
oh god. We'll say for purely bad reality television, I'm gonna say 3 pots of gold. Just for the absurdity, the entertainment, yes, it definitely held my attention.
Alex, did you learn
You go
anything?
ahead. Did you want to go?
Sure. I would say I agree with Erica. 3 pots of gold. I think that it is one of the more fun reality TV shows in a while because of how ridiculous and preposterous the entire thing is. I also think that it's a good conversation piece. It's easy to get on a soap dish about a lot of the like dumb stuff they do on it. I did think parts of it were pretty endearing. I did think that some of the it's like teenage innocence, but because a 23-year-old or a 25-year-old is saying it, it's not creepy. Where if you were watching 16-year-olds talk about this, it'd be like, this is too exploitative. But it's like 28-year-olds talking like they're 16 about sex, because they're so inexperienced.
Yeah, and it did kind of start having a little bit of like high school, vibes to it. The way they were all kind of like awkward and gangly around each other. The guys more so than the women
Talking
being
about
gangly.
each other in little cliques and that kind of stuff.
Clicks, and this is where it's like I want to do a better version of this because they seemed more relaxed and more flirty with each other when they were playing their little games. And that's what they needed more of, was like, here's some icebreakers to get you guys talking, and maybe we can like help get some sparks going between you guys. But so it was endearing, but also uncomfortable and a little creepy. So 3 pots of gold. It's perfect.
Now you can't choose 3.
Yeah.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
No, I would say it was probably a 3 also. I would say it was much better organized than MILF Manor by a huge power gap.
Was MILF Manor on TLC also?
It was on some. I don't think it even got to TLC. It was on something like True TV or one of those cable channels that you only watch because you're flipping through, and that's it. But I feel like this thing, it needed a little bit more sparks happening, a little bit more drama and stuff. It was very, apart from like the shoving against the wall type of thing, it was more like pushing, stuff against the wall. That was pretty much it. Hopefully they can kind of spruce things up in the second season, and we'll see what they have planned. But overall, yeah, it's what was it, like 8 episodes or something? Like you can easily binge watch this. 6, something like, you can, oh geez, you could binge watch it like over a weekend easily. And
we literally did.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we watched. Yeah, first and then we watched the last 2 when we got home. But yeah, overall, they could have done worse, which is a good thing. I think it was decent first season. So yeah,
I think its heart was in the right place. I didn't think it was entirely exploitative, even though a lot of it was exploitative. It still felt, it had enough of a dash of innocence to it where it didn't just feel completely skeezy like Naked Attraction or MILF Manor and like Open House sounds even worse. So
This is the, if you're watching trashy reality TV show, this is the family friendly.
No.